welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about empathy and empathy which is being taken an advantage of. Now, so what I am talking about here today is to explain to you two different scenarios. One is where you feel like your love is never enough and it's not respected, what to do then. And the second is when you almost given up, but then you get hooked in and you believe that, okay, let's assume my love is expected. So now you're love bombing now the situation, not just the person, but now you are over exaggerating the empathy. Maybe pretending that this person is much more worthy of your love than you assumed. Or maybe you think that you weren't empathetic and compassionate enough, or you haven't looked at the bigger picture enough and understood why this person is doing what they're doing to you, why they're being disrespectful. Meaning you open yourself up to a huge mental story about the other person, and then you are pouring your empathy into this mental story, and as if you would be catering to this other person's needs. But all it is that you are almost self-soothing yourself by overcompensating for the other person's lack with your outpour of empathy. So we're going to address these two issues. Truth has to apply in every situation. If truth doesn't come, wisdom is not applied. And when you have an empathetic heart, then you are responsible for that empathetic heart to be regulated. Why? Because empathy is like a valve on your heart. And if that valve is not opening periodically in the right direction, then what will end up happening is that either you open up too much, or you're not opening up at all, or you're opening to the wrong direction, and then love flow, that in this case we're saying that life which is flowing through you and expressing empathy towards other people, then this love flow will be hindered. Not only hindered, but it will be leaking, as if a bucket would have a hole on it and it would be leaking the content. And what you will end up with is that you will feel that your power, your energy is completely drained. And no matter how much you're trying to fill that up by resting, by doing different activities which rejuvenates you, no matter how much you try, once again, this energy will be depleted when the other person's negativity is returned. So, to compensate for this, some of you decided that if you have stated the truth and the truth is too difficult for the other person to handle, then you need to apply empathy. Meaning, you know that the other person is being disrespectful to you. Downright rude and hurtful and just a complete narcissist. Yet, you feel that it is your role to forgive them and to compensate for their lack. Maybe you think to yourself they are not wise enough, or they have too much pain, or whatever your mental story is. If you end up compensating for the lack versus understanding that the truth is that they have misbehaved, they need to know it, they need to take responsibility for it, And if they don't know how to take responsibility for it, it's not your job to take responsibility for them. Now, it's a different situation in a child raising, but I'm talking about in general with adults. So if you feel that this person is suddenly acting towards you as if they would be the victim because you are telling them that their behavior is disrespectful, and that's tend to be the case, but because the moment you raise the issue that their behavior is hurtful to you, they immediately turn it on to you and saying that it is you who is being disrespectful towards them because you're hurting their feelings. Do not get sucked in that moment. Do not start thinking that, oh, you are lacking something. No. Keep it simple, straight to the point, directly to the goal you want to be. And the goal is keeping the truth and keeping yourself anchored in peace. Do not let anyone to pull that anchor from peace which you are well established in. Otherwise, you will be tossing and turning and getting lost over the waves of this other person's persona, because this persona will toss you whichever way they like. If you are disrespectful to the truth, and if you are disrespectful to the peace you are anchored to. So instead of going into a love bombing situation where you feel that you will have to love bomb this pain you have experienced from this other person, and you have to come up with an explanation of why this person behaved this way to you in order to soothe yourself, or have to cover up for this person because let's say you already gone and explained the pain this person caused you to somebody else, pouring your heart to somebody who is empathetic and who is willing to listen to you. So do not allow a shame, guilt, and lack, in whatever format it presents itself, to come and manipulate you, thinking that you have to now make peace. That's not your role. Your role is to maintain peace. What's the difference between the two? This is the difference. The maintenance happens inside, the making happens outside. Your role is to maintain the peace here, talk from the consciousness here, allow the life flow of consciousness and wisdom come through you with your behavior, with your reaction, with how you're perceiving the situation, meaning you perceive the situation truthfully, and you're allowing the response to come from there. That's the maintaining of peace, because you already have it. You're not trying to make it out there in the situation and rearranging it so that you could feel peace inside. So you see the direction? Now, why is this important? Because if you do not respect the truth of this situation and you don't stand by it, then you can't do the next step, which is you cannot understand and cannot respond in a way where healthy boundaries must be utilized. You need to have healthy boundaries when people are treating you with disrespect. If you have treated them with the utmost respect, you've been kind, you've been honest, you've been truthful, then the other person has the opportunity and the invitation to treat you back the same way. And when they're not doing it, when they're doing the complete opposite, so they're not even doing it a little bit to their own limits, let's say their own limits is a little bit less than yours, and they still haven't using that, then it is up to you to protect yourself. And that is why you need healthy boundaries. And healthy boundaries are built from truth, built from the interlocking mechanism of understanding that wisdom is truth, and in every situation, truth must be the first response you have to come from. You don't make the other person into a problematic identity. What you're doing is you assess and you say, this is a habitual behavior this person doing whenever I am around, time to time giving me the hope that there is hope for this person yet, and there is still hope maybe one day that they will become empathetic towards me and respectful. But as far as I know, they habitually taking my energy, depleting me from my love flow I am so keenly would love to express, and so keenly expressing to them. So make sure that you are truthful and say, yes, they done the wrong thing. I told them that this is not on. I am erecting my healthy boundaries. I step back from them, let them have a little bit of space, and see if they're going to realize that this is not on. And if they do realize and they apologize or showing a apologetic attitude towards you, then very carefully, very truthfully, and very wisely, logically, using common sense, you will be able to take another step forward together and see if your wise and truthful behavior is impacting this other person. And then hopefully it does, and it will work out. But if it doesn't, then you need to come up with a different strategy from the truth and say, right, I am not going to go down on this path of telling myself a story that they are so great despite that they quenched my heart and I was crying so much and they hurt me, and this is an ongoing issue. Instead of overcompensating, trying to whitewash their bad behavior, you will step back and say, no, I will not waste my energy on this anymore. They did the wrong thing. That's my assessment. I have to do this. And now I am going to make sure that my energy is spent in recovering, in healing, if I feel that the boundary somewhere is being impacted too harshly, gain more truth in a way. You look, you read, you listen, approach within and also outside of you life in a way where life can show you and build more truth in you, because that's what the game here is that you keep building the truth, you keep transforming every part of you, meaning you keep allowing life to transform every part of you, even your empathy, even the mechanism of your empathy has to be transformed and populated by truth, love, and beauty. Yeah, makes sense? So that's the whitewashing, love bombing, trying to compensate for somebody else's lack of empathy by you over exaggerating and over pouring love from your own empathy. Now, number one issue, which I have mentioned earlier, was that you keep giving loving affection through your empathy, but this other person is like as if they would be a bottomless pit and it's never enough. Just bit by bit by bit by bit, you keep feeling that your power is being drained. And you're never really able to fill up the love you have because it just keeps draining. And the more love you will love, the more this valve is just opening the wrong direction, and it just keeps opening the hole in the bucket, so to speak. Or if you're using the heart as an analogy, the valve is opening in the wrong direction. And the love flow is not going in the right direction. So what to do then? Number one, obviously, you need to recognize this. And do not compensate for the other person's lack, or for the situation, or a group of people. Do not. Just say, I am assessing the situation truthfully, and this is what's happening to me. I am an empathetic person who loves to love, who loves to give, loves to express my empathy. I love it that through my heart love flows. I love it that through my empathy love flows in many formats. May they be that I am caring, compassionate, kind, attentive, vigilant. I am doing everything I can, the best way I know, to just love, because I love to love. But the people I am attempting to love over and over again, draining my love from me. In this situation, you must learn to manage wisely this love flow, to regulate the valve, so to speak. If we take that empathy is a mechanism for love to flow through, then you have to make sure that you strengthen this opening and closing this mechanism in a way where it's not allowing any leakage or any wrong direction for the love flow. And how do you do that? As I said, you start with the truth. Number one, that you truthfully assess the situation of what's happening here. First of all, that you love to love, and love that empathy is going through you. Number two is that you will see that who are those people around you who are sucking your energy and making your bucket, if I'm using two metaphors here, the bucket of your love to drain and cause a puncture on it. And maybe there are multiple punctures because you have multiple people sucking your energy. So you assess wisely, assess truthfully. You use truth to assess the situation. This is not a judgment on other people. This is understanding that there are three types of people in this world. It's all over the Bible, for instance, if you want to reference it in ancient texts. There is the sheep, there is the goat, and there is the shepherd. The sheep is the one who possesses the empathy, but doesn't have the wisdom to guide it. The goat, who representing in this situation, although goats are not a bad animal, please don't misunderstand, this is just a representation. The goat is the one who headstrongly butting everything, forceful, but lacks empathy. And the shepherd, who has both the empathy and the wisdom to guide it. Question is, which one do you want to belong to? You can make a choice. Do you want to live consciously? Do you want to live wisely? Or do you want your empathy to be taken advantage of? And if you do not guide and guard your empathy, then you will lose the power you need to operate in this world wisely. Yes, it's connected. The moment you start attending to that mechanism of empathy I mentioned, the valve and that sort of movement, that moment you will gain more and more momentum to make it go all the time in the right direction. And you will know when to close it and say, no, in this situation, I cannot be taken advantage of. I cannot allow to be sucked in by the other person's pretentious act. The other person might be accusing you falsely. They come up with the most ridiculous stories. No, you cannot be sucked into that. You have to keep it simple and truthful. And as I said in the other example, you use your healthy boundaries, and you build healthy boundaries by the wisdom and the truth. That's it. Common sense, logic, applying it, truth, applying it through every kind of experience until it's so strong and it's so moldable that every situation, doesn't matter which way and when you have to open that valve and when you have to close it, you will know, because wisdom and truth will guide it. Not to say that you will not make mistakes here or there. Maybe you were very, very kind to someone and this person appeared to be so nice. And it's only later on that you find out that this so nice was at your expense and other people's expense. So you learn this as you go in life. But that's kind of okay. It's fun. You know, it's fun. It's not, life is not meant to be so serious. Life is meant to be fun. So yes, you can go through a difficult situation and you could say, oh Maria, but that was not fun. In fact, it was like really stressful. Of course, I understand that. But when you gain a little bit of distance from this event, and when you breathe and you sort of, the pain subsides, and then you learn about the truth and about who you are, essentially that you are made out of peace, you are made out of life. And this life wants to flow through you. This life wants to help you and to navigate all kind of situations and to be able to relate to all kind of people. So when that understanding starts growing in you and starts establishing in you, and for that you will need to go through many experiences. That is why I do not recommend very young people to go out and talk about things which need life experience. Try to find someone who will have the life experience to model to you how this is done, what I have been explaining to you here, who can explain it to you, who can demonstrate it to you, and who can encourage you to do it. Because if you have been habitually throughout a long period of time, you have this almost backwards step, meaning your valve is opening backwards, that you feel, if you are not outpouringly giving love to every situation, regardless that it's good for you or not, then somehow you are not enough. Somehow you are guilty. So if that's your perception of the situation at the moment, then that has to be remedied. And the only way that can be remedied is if you understand what I am saying to you and you're willing to change it. And this too will help you, this love of truth will help you to put one foot in front of the other and keep going and keep going and keep going until one day you find yourself that now you are strong enough and your valve, your empathy and love flow regulator is naturally now opening in the right direction and closing when it needs to be closed. And something is coming its way and it's not supposed to penetrate through that passage. Or someone wants to suck that love out of you and you say, no, that's not where I'm going to go. To sum up, I'm going to tell you one more point instead of going through what we have gone through. Because I believe that what I have told you now, you understand. And this one more point is the following. Do not think that empathy is a kind of possession, a kind of natural ability which is almost overlooked and doesn't need respect. Do not make that mistake, because if you do, then your empathy will be taken an advantage of. You will be taken advantage of over and over and over again. And that's exactly what happens when other people are sucking your energy out of you. So do not let your empathy be disrespected by you. Cherish it, value it, see how important it is, because it is helping you, just like valves in our heart helping our whole body to be regulated and keeping us alive. The same way empathy is helping you to regulate that love flow, which is you, and it's coming through you and it's flowing in the directions it needs to go. That's how precious empathy is. But empathy cannot be then presumed that it is there to serve other people. Empathy is not there to serve other people. Empathy is there to serve you, just like your heart valves is there to serve you. What's there is to serve other people is that love flow which coming through you. And the love flow which coming through you has to be regulated. You have to know that in this moment I have to say yes to somebody, or I have to say no to somebody. And there will be many times in your life where you have to say no, and you have to stand by that no, instead of going back and thinking, oh, I caused so much pain, oh, now I'm just going to just let's forget what I done, and now I'm just gonna over-exaggerate how great they are. Doesn't matter how much they hurt me, doesn't matter that they made me suffer for days at end. Doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Yes, it does matter, because you are carrying a misconception about what empathy is. Empathy is there to serve you and help you to regulate the love flow which is for other people. Right now, right here, I am helping you, loving you, flowing through me, the conscious understanding and conscious wisdom through this body, this empathy, through this camera, right into your home, right into where you are, and right into your heart. That's the love flow. But my empathy is regulated with wisdom. And if you would disrespect me, I will not give you that love flow, because that's not what you need. What you need is to someone say, no, of course you won't do this, but you know what I mean. So it is wise for you to say no. It is wise to erect the healthy boundaries and love through that healthy boundaries. Yes, you can love, and you can allow, you can learn how to love through healthy boundaries. And that is also part of the energetic movement of empathy, of that love flow. I don't want to keep the video too long, because if I start talking about now, about what I just mentioned, how you operate through empathy and how you allow the love flow flow in certain direction and certain ways, if I start talking about that now, that's going to be a whole new topic. And I'm looking at the camera, it's already 35 minutes, so by the time I edit it, I'm not sure how many minutes it will be, so I don't want to make it too long. But if you guys are interested, let me know, and I will do another video on this. So keep yourself in check and say, am I acting out of truth? Am I quick, speedy to do what is truthful here? Or am I being swayed by the situation and allowing my empathy to just be taken advantage of? Because if you do, that will drain your power and you will not have the strength to go on. So, what to do then is to regroup, in a sense. You will have to close that valve, allow the love now to wash you over, cry if you have to cry, because you might have so much energy built up in you that you feel like this video is now just all you can do is cry, because the pain has been so much and so long, and this might be the first time ever that somebody told you that it's okay for you to say no to the other person. And not only okay, it's important that you do. Important that you learn how to regulate your empathy and the love flow through it. So in that case, if you feel that this was really, really an eye-opener, and this was just really cleansing in a way, clearing away all the negativity, and now it's opened a new clear path for you to walk on, and that can be, as I said, very liberating to the body, but at the same time almost very tiring, because the body now has to adjust to the new understanding, and the old painful understanding is suddenly just departing from you, and the body feels that finally I can rest. So if that's what you need, take the rest. If whatever activity makes you happy. I like swimming, so if you like swimming, I like going for a walk, I like having a good laugh, I like nature, I love so many things. I don't want to list them all here, but whatever you love, just indulge in that, you know, allow that love to fill you, allow that love flow to build your strength up, so that you can now learn to go with strength and regulate that beautiful empathy of yours. Because I am sure that if you're listening to this, most likely you have an amazing empathy and you love loving other people, makes you happy. But first and most of all, you need to learn to regulate the love flow. Need to learn to regulate yourself in truth, how to operate in truth, how to operate in wisdom, how to operate in common sense, because that will then build you up to the level where you will end up picking friends. Then that love of truth will be shared with the people you surround yourself with, and they all will feel the same way. This love flow will be important to them, because it's important for them also to pour it out towards you. And it's a beautiful life when that happens. It's a beautiful event when that happens. You know this yourself. When you go out in nature, what happens? Nature is pouring the love towards you. And it's just a beautiful experience. So respect yourself, respect that you have an empathy, and value your empathy as the most precious thing. And I wish you a wonderful day. I hope this was very useful to you. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.